Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead, No One's Gone Until They're Gone. As always with these reviews there will be full spoilers the entire episode throughout, so please don't watch any further if that will be an issue. So without further ado, let's get to it. Fear's fourth season got off to a great start with a fantastic episode. However, it seems that with each passing week, more and more cracks have begun to surface, culminating in last week's pretty dire episode. Sadly, I have to report that for me, the mid-season finale isn't a whole lot better than what came before. I think this episode is supposed to be the moment that everything falls into place. It's supposed to be the entry that we as viewers sit back and reflect on what happened after the end credits. We're supposed to sit to ourselves and say, ah, so that's why Fear used multiple timelines. Well done, Gimple. Bravo. Bravo. And whilst it does wrap up a lot of the loose threads being teased over the last couple of weeks, I just found myself feeling really underwhelmed by it all. I mean, I can't believe the showrunner skipped over a couple of years of Fear's timeline and brought over Morgan just to have this complete failure of a storyline. I've made a few jokes about Fear's tendency to jump around in time this season, and nowhere was it more apparent than in this episode. In fact, I actually lost track of what was happening and what was going on. You know them annoying before and after cards that I mentioned a few weeks ago? Well, I really could have used them this time around. I'm not embarrassed to admit that I thought the scenes between Madison and Al actually took place after the stadium fell. I imagine that Maddie had been looking for Alicia and Nick since the stadium fell to pieces and just so happened to bump into Al, rather than encountering Al before they moved into the stadium. I mean, I remember a couple of weeks ago Strand saying something about Madison nursing him back to health in a cave. So then, did this happen after that? Right, just wait a minute. So what you're saying is that the group did actually get back together after the dam fell, then they got separated again for some reason, and then they went to the stadium. Why make it this convoluted? It feels to me like during this half season, Fear has been trying to emulate Westworld in its attempts to weave in multiple storylines, hoping for some big payoff when a mystery is revealed. However, the problem is that Scott Gimple and his writers have less talent than one Westworld writer does in their little toe. That was a bit harsh, sorry. Fear doesn't need this kind of storytelling. It's supposed to be a zombie drama centered on the Clarks, not a program that is trying to emulate the narrative choices of a sci-fi thriller. Anyway, I've got my moaning cap on now, so I might as well just continue telling you what I didn't like. I hope you don't need the bathroom, I could be here for a while. So whilst Morgan and Naomi are trying to find medical supplies for John, a new group of supervillains arrive on the scene to blow shit up. I guess the creative team thought it would be cool to try and have Alicia blow off Morgan's legs with a grenade launcher, but I just thought it was a bit bizarre. I mean, why was she just standing there like the bloody Winter Soldier trying to kill both of them? And this is a major problem which I had with the entire episode, because I'm just not interested in seeing a civil war take place between Team Alicia and Team Morgan. There's no real reason for these two groups to be fighting one another. It just felt like a waste of time. Well, I guess that's what happens when you kill your antagonist the episode before, with no one left for the heroes to fight. Even more strange was when Luciana launched an RPG at Al's vehicle. I thought I heard Strand say on his radio that they were there for the cowboy. So then why are you trying to blow him up? I just don't understand. The thing is, I did probably miss out on some of the dialogue between these two groups that made these events make more sense, but as soon as I saw them fighting, I just kind of switched off because I'm not interested in it. It didn't help that almost immediately after, Alicia somehow made her way from the top of the stadium to the bottom where Al's vehicle was, and then took Charlie hostage, and Al started to cry for some reason. I mean, since when has Al really cared for Charlie? After this, we see some more footage of Madison and Al before Maddie found the stadium, in which she talks about how Alicia and Nick nursed an injured bird back to health. Nick and Alicia fed this bird worms and insects until it got better and then flew around the house. Okay then. This story then convinces Madison that everyone deserves a chance because no one is gone till they're gone. All because of a bird. A bloody bird. Okay, I know that's not the only reason. Of course, Al's sparing of Madison also played a big part as well. But come on, it is still such a huge change in character for Madison to undergo, even with this explanation. Oh yeah, and then Al talks about some guy called Twisted Round. Twisted Round. Twisted Round. Honestly, whoever comes up with these names need firing. After this, we got yet some more scenes of Morgan talking about there being another way, blah blah blah, before he then goes on to be a daddy for Alicia. I know what you're up to, Morgan. I know you've got the hots for Alicia. I'm watching you, you sick bastard. Anyway, I'm not usually a fan of Morgan's preaching, but his attempts to protect Alicia felt like one of the most genuine moments of the episode, even if it was somewhat spoiled by Naomi telling Alicia that she knows who she is. Sorry Naomi, you've done nothing but try to run and screw everyone over since you first arrived. You don't get to speak here. And that reminds me, she's now called June for some reason. I swear every episode she either runs away or changes her name. I haven't even mentioned the worst scene yet, which comes at the end of the episode, when Madison somehow leads around 5,000 walkers with a single flare. It doesn't make any sense! In season 6 of The Walking Dead, Rick had a tough time leading a herd away with the help of an entire group. Yet Maddie can somehow lead an entire horde of walkers away from other tasty humans just by herself. There's just so much about this ending that I find ridiculous. Firstly is the fact that Alicia was stuck in a vehicle the entire time. A vehicle they could have just used to drive away but didn't even try. Also, if flares are super effective at luring away walkers, then why just not throw one in the distance? Lastly, why did no one use the old guts trick? Nick was covering himself in walker guts for the best part of 2 years, so why did no one think this was a good idea when zombies showed up at their doorstep? The actual composition of the ending itself also looked rather amateur. In fact, it looked like I animated it. For the most part, it was just static photos fading into one another, a lot like my YouTube videos. I mean, to me it just felt like Fear ran out of budget, so it couldn't really show what happened. So instead we had to sit through this weird slow-mo montage. You know, the thing is, I was never really a big fan of Madison, but like Carl on The Walking Dead, this just feels like another unnecessary death that is only going to hurt the show going forward. I mean, at this point in time, who can you really say that's left on the show that's worth watching? Luciana is like the female T-Dog. She's just there. She sometimes fires her gun and has the occasional bit of dialogue. She doesn't really do a lot. Similarly, Strand has been on the sidelines for much of this season, with Fear destroying which could have been a potentially great rivalry between him and Daniel that was teased last year. Morgan is Morgan, 1 minute he's alright and then the next she's just annoying me. Naomi/June is just someone I don't care for. Anel's a cool girl, but she's like a viewer in that she's a passenger who just watches what happens. John Dory's a cool guy, I'll admit that, but he's also been underused since his introduction. And that only leaves us with Alicia, who admittedly I do have a soft spot for. However, she's also been let down by the lackluster writing this season. At this moment in time, there's not really a lot that's making me excited about spending another 8 episodes with these characters. Oh, and I also forget to mention Charlie because she's just forgettable. And I can't believe at the end of the episode, Alicia is sitting opposite the girl who killed her brother. Truthfully though, this was about what I expected from this installment. I haven't really liked the way things were going, and realistically, my mind wasn't going to change during the mid-season finale. It's just sad that things have turned out this way because there was real potential for this season to be very good. However, I feel it's been squandered by Fear's messy storytelling and its needless confrontations between its groups of characters. The big reveal about Madison's fate and the stadium doesn't justify telling a story in this way, because for me there was no real payoff for all that jumping back and forth. Again, I hate to go back for Westworld, and here's a big spoiler for the first season of that, but when you find out that the Man in Black is an older William, you come to understand the two timelines and why they are there. There's a real payoff here, making this method of presenting a narrative feel necessary. Fear's narrative direction on the other hand just doesn't feel necessary. It feels thrown together just for the sake of getting Morgan on board in an effort to increase the ratings, which ironically has had the opposite effect. If you've liked this season so far, this episode is more of the same, so you'll probably like it. However, I'm just disappointed. For me, it's the lowest point of the show, and Fear needs to do something special to draw back in its viewers when it resumes. So there you have it, as my thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead. Stay tuned after this outro and I'll reveal a bit more about what's going on with me being on camera. As always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. So I hope you all enjoyed that review of Fear the Walking Dead, and obviously it's a bit different to my other reviews because this ugly mug is on the screen. And there is a reason for that. I don't want to bore you by talking about it for hours, but I have had a bit of trouble with my wisdom tooth lately, meaning it's quite hard for me to sort of pronounce words as well as I like to. When I record with my mic set up, I really am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to trying to get everything right. So sort of every noise or every sort of tick or breathing noise I try to remove, and it can actually take me hours to edit the audio just to set up for the video. And you know, it's frustrating when it takes, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours just to record it anyway, then you've got to spend another 2 hours editing the audio, then you've got to put it all together in a video, and it's just, you know, it's taking me 8 hours to make a 7-minute video, so it's just getting crazy. And obviously with my tooth being the way it is, I'm picking up on things, you know, picking up on letters and words that I'm not saying properly, or that, you know, that's irritating me, and I'm just going crazy. I'm spending even more time trying to edit the audio, and it's just not getting the way I wanted it to be. So I just thought to myself, I'm going to try and do it on camera, because I've been trying a week to do this Shane video. I've tried recording it, and you know, you might even just me, I'm just picking up on certain things because I'm listening to it in the headphones, certain noises that are really irritating me, and I just haven't been happy with the recording. So I thought if I do it over video, you know, it doesn't matter too much if the audio's not great, because you're not expecting that on a camera. You know, I mean, I don't want it to be terrible, but if you're just sort of sitting there listening to it with pictures on screen, you know, you're paying more attention to the audio, as it were, than if you're, you know, looking at me. So yeah, that's why I basically did it. I don't know whether this will be a permanent thing. You know, if it turns out that I edit this video and get it up a lot quicker and everyone likes it, then maybe. But I mean, I know I had a few comments on my videos before saying I don't want you to be like this YouTuber blah 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 because they just go on camera and talk shit. But my videos, they're still scripted anyway, well, apart from now, but they're always still scripted, so it's not like I'm going to just be on a camera after an episode making it up. It will still be essentially the same as it was if I was recording it, just you have to sit and look at me rather than looking at some pictures. So maybe you like that, maybe you don't, I don't know, let me know. But anyway, yeah, I should be getting results about my tooth next week. I mean, I don't want to go on back for hours, but I've had nothing but trouble with my teeth as a I was going to say as a kid, as a guy growing up. I've had 2 wisdom teeth down here removed because they were growing in sideways and I had to cut out my gums and get rid of them. I've had a retainer because this jaw was in front of the top when I was younger. I've had my 2 front teeth here grow through before my baby teeth went out and they had to pull them out. It's just been a nightmare. I've had so much trouble with it, and it's just like, just take them out, just give me false teeth. It's a nightmare, honestly. But anyway, that's enough about me. You've all got, you know, more problems than some bloody teeth. But yeah, so I don't know what the plans are for next week. It might be that, you know, things get a bit better, I feel more confident in talking on my microphone, and it might go back to how it is. Or it might be that, you know, I figure, well, let's just do the Shane video with me and I'll just put some videos and some bits in the background, we'll do it that way. I mean, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm not making any promises, we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering on because I've been talking for far too long and I'm sweating. I cannot handle the summer at all. I'm not made for this. You know, I've probably got all my American subscribers thinking, what are you moaning about? But I'm just not made for the heat. I'm a winter person. But yeah, you can see why I script stuff, because I just go incredibly off topic. Anyway, right, I better shut up, and thank you for watching. See you later.